Welcome back to AgriTalk in Decatur, Illinois at the Farm Progress Show site and our Farm Progress Show preview series brought to you by Syngenta. We're joined now by host farmer David Brix. Good to see you. Are you relieved or nervous about not having anything planted right now?
Both. Relieved that it may not have been a great idea because a lot of the corn that was planted is not up, but also very skeptical because we like to have corn in the field come September 1 so we can have a good show.
There is some corn in the area planted, but as far as what you have here on the show site, what you'll need for the show, you haven't started yet.
No, we haven't. Both the other host farmers did get theirs planted. Neither one of them are up yet, but they're in the ground. But no, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, traditional demo days, and all the plots and everything else are not in the ground.
Talking with Craig Abel earlier with Syngenta, he had talked about soil temperatures in this area had been up around 60, and now kind of dropped back into maybe around the mid-50s.
Yeah, well, there for a while even got less than that. It's been overly cool with we had some warm weather early. Back in March, we spiked up 80 to 85 degrees, but that was pretty short-lived, and we're still got forecasted 40-degree nights this week, so we're not going to gain any soil temperature right away.
Well, farmers certainly can relate to being kind of nervous about getting things planted, but most of them will just hope for a long fall and a stretched out growing season. But you have a set date. You have a show coming up at the end of August and the 1st of September, and you need to have corn ready to harvest if possible. But as you pointed out to me, reminded me, it's still a working farm. You still got to think about corn here to sell.
Yeah, if like Matt said earlier, if he goes down to 78-day corn in Iowa, that works all right. But here, 78-day corn, your yield also goes down tremendously too. So, we like to keep it up as high as we can on maturity, but yet we got to make sure it's ready to go. It depends, and the biggest thing is you just don't know what the summer's going to bring. So, if we could forecast it, how many GDUs we're going to have between now and the showtime, that'd be excellent.
You're looking at if you could get things planted by May 10th and then had a pretty normal year, whatever normal is anymore, but get the heat that you need during the course of the summer, that you could be in good shape by showtime. Yeah,
our 10-year average is like 2,450 GDUs. The maturity we got picked right now is 2,450 GDUs. So, and that's by showtime by 1st September. So if we have just an average summer, it'll be black layer by showtime. So that's harvestable. It's not ideal, but it would be harvestable.
You would probably be harvesting some pretty high moisture corn.
Yeah, that's a good idea. For all the dryer companies out there, hey, you want to bring a dryer in and we'll do some tests on some high moisture corn.
How does this spring compare with 2 years ago when the show was here?
Spring is similar. We did get some planted. We had a period of window there, 1st of April, where we got everything in the ground, and it got wet, but it wasn't quite as cold as wet. But we had a delay, in the spring but we had it in the ground, and then, it turned off nice in May, and then June hit, and we had 14 inches of rain here in June. So, it's good and it's bad, but then the summer just it took off. Well, that was in 10 and 9. It was cold and wet all summer. So as I talked to an old farmer, he said there's never 2 years in a row. So you just can't judge according to what happened last show or the show before. Because this is our fourth show, and every one of them's been different.
Some of this ground holds some water, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the worst part about it. On our farm there, compared to the other farms around here, is it's lower, not as well drained soil, so it's darker. So that's where we have the trouble of getting it dry enough. When they was planting, we went out and ours was still mud, so there just was no way we can get out there and get it done.
This being the fourth time for the show here, does that make it somewhat easier on you, though? You've been through this, you know what's expected. You kind of had some of the pressures and dealt with that of a show coming up.
Oh, it's unbelievable different.
You looked a lot more nervous the fourth show ago, which is how many years ago? 8 years ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Yeah, but I can remember you were a lot more antsy at that time. You're pretty calm considering it was wet as things are.
I guess it's a good thing that the interviews are a lot easier now than they used to be. Whenever we first started in 05, I don't know, my blood pressure probably was skyrocket, but this stuff, everything becomes old hat. You know everybody, everybody's got a place, everybody's got a thing to do. It's just, you show up, you do your job, you know what to expect. '05 was a long year, but the last two shows have been great, and this one too. Everybody gets accustomed to what you're supposed to do. Everybody knows each other. So it's just the only factor you don't have control over is the weather. So
'05 was the first show here, right? So wow, 6 years have gone by pretty quickly.
Yeah, it has. We talked with our kids, and do you know by this show I'll be in high school? Well, now they are, and have a freshman and a junior, and by showtime, and I guess that means I'm getting older too.
It kind of works that way, yeah. But considering all you've been through, it hasn't aged you too much. That's pretty good. So you're just kind of waiting now for the break in the weather to be able to go, and do you have it kind of planned out how you hope to be able to go once, or just is it going to kind of play field by field?
Yeah, I think as of right now, we're going to just stay on the course we are as long as we can, see a window where we can get it in by the 5th or 10th of May. If we come into them dates and it's still looking bad or we still ain't in, then we're going to have to do some serious altering by that date. But as of right now, we'll just stay where we are.
Let's hope that the weather turns around and things do indeed work out. David, good to see you again, and good luck. We'll see you several times through the spring and summer.
Can't wait.
One of the host farmers here at the Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois, David Brix, who's going to go out and do his sun dance here right after we're done. Again, our thanks to Matt Youngman, the folks at Farm Progress, for their great cooperation, and of course the folks at Syngenta for making our preview series possible. And we'll either be here on site or talking with Matt Youngman and others by phone during the course of the spring and summer to kind of help you get an idea how this show builds to its climax last 2 days of August and the first day of September. And again, our thanks to John Bannon with the Central Illinois Food Bank for being here, and we were very happy on behalf of Syngenta to be able to make the $500 presentation to the Central Illinois Food Bank. Again, part of the Halix GT Weeding Out Hunger campaign that Syngenta has had going on has been so successful and continues still today. We're glad to be a part of that. We'll be making a couple of other presentations to food banks here in the next few months, so stay tuned for that. I want to remind you that coming up tomorrow, we're going to have kind of a debate over ethanol subsidies. National Cattlemen's Beef Association coming out against those subsidies. We'll hear from NCBA. We're also going to hear from Bob Deneen, President and CEO of the Renewable Fuels Association on the other side of that. So you're going to hear both sides coming up on tomorrow's program, and hope you'll join us for that. Remember our poll question this week. We're asking you, maybe I ought to ask David Brix this, how concerned are you about planting delays this spring? Very concerned, somewhat concerned, or not concerned yet? How would you vote on that?
Very concerned.
Very concerned. That's a farmer. He says very concerned, a farmer who has not been able to get out and do any planting yet. So we'll see how the results come in on Friday's program. Again, thanks for joining us from here in Decatur, Illinois, the site of the Farm Progress Show for 2011. Mark those dates on your calendar. Last 2 days of August, first day of September. We hope to see a lot of you here at that time. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Mike Adams. This is AgriTalk, the voice of rural America.